Hey, what's going on, guys? So we'll be taking a look at this USB micro light for Android. This is just kind of your regular micro USB cable, but it actually has a nice little LED light built into it, which should assist you with kind of plugging it into phones and stuff during the night, which is a pretty cool idea. However, it does make the cable a lot bulkier, as you can see, but it is definitely a very nice feature because I always find it's kind of difficult, especially with micro USB cables, because there's only one way you can plug them in. It is kind of difficult to kind of navigate through your phone and stuff during the night, because you will of course kind of have to plug this in one way, and so it is kind of difficult. And so it's very nice to have this little LED flashlight built into it, and even if you don't want to use it for plugging your phone in, you could just use it kind of as an emergency light or something like that. So it is a pretty cool idea, and yeah, that's just the cable. It is 6 feet long, which is pretty nice. It gives you plenty of room for like moving around with your phone, or setting it on a nightstand if your outlet's far away or something like that. And this is the packaging that it comes in. It's pretty basic packaging. It's kind of boring. It's like curled up inside of here, and then it shows that it's nothing super fancy. And then on the back here it says it works with Samsung, HTC, Nokia, Sony, Motorola, BlackBerry. It is your standard micro USB cable, so it will work with a bunch of devices. So as you can see here, yeah, that's just the packaging that it comes in. Nothing super interesting there. And yeah, this is just the cable here. It is all plastic, except of course for the kind of metal connectors here, which makes sense. So yeah, as you can see here, there's just a standard USB connection and the micro USB part. As I mentioned, the micro USB part is a lot bigger than what your standard kind of micro USB cable would be. You can see the micro USB there, but just kind of around it is a lot bigger because of course there's a little LED light built into it. So it's kind of a cool idea, like I said, but it does make the cable a lot bulkier, which might be a problem if you're using a case. So we'll go ahead and get this plugged in, and I'll show you how it works. So we do have the cable plugged in. As you can see, if we push the little button on the top here, the little LED light comes on. I'll give you an idea of the brightness in a minute, but right now, as you can see here, the LED light does come on whenever we push the little button here. The button is a pretty cheap feeling, just a little black button, although it does have a little divot here, which makes it kind of nice for your thumb and stuff to kind of rest in there and push the button. So push this button, the LED comes on, and that's basically the extent of that. So to charge the phone, of course, you simply plug it into the bottom of the phone. Nothing super complicated there. And you can see that it does work if you plug it in. So yeah, it does work pretty well. Charging times haven't really been any different than most Android charging cables I've used. I mean, it's not like super slow or super fast or anything like that. It's a pretty basic kind of generic micro USB cable, but of course it does have the light built into it, which is a pretty nice feature. I'm not sure I would necessarily recommend actually buying this, because as you can see, it's pretty, like, I don't know, it's just really, really big. This might be useful if you are constantly having trouble plugging in your phone at night, but what I personally do is I just like go onto my phone and turn on the flashlight, and then that gives me enough light to plug in the phone. So you don't necessarily have to spend extra money on this cable. However, if it is a problem you find yourself constantly running into, it may be worth the money for you, but I mean, I personally don't think it is, because I don't know, it's just kind of gimmicky. It's cool, I guess, but like I said, it's just pretty big cable, and it works the same as every other micro USB cable, and there are definitely other ways to plug in your phone rather than having a LED light built directly into the cable. I will give you an idea of the brightness to show you that it is actually sufficiently bright. It's not like light up a room bright or anything like that, but it does work pretty well, especially just for kind of illuminating the charging port of your phone. One thing I have noticed, however, is that it is actually like fairly difficult to get in and out of phones. I'm not sure why that would be, because the micro USB cable doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult to just kind of make it the right size. However, it does feel like it's a little bit too big, because you do have to pull a little bit extra hard to get it out of your phone, and I'm not really sure why that is. Like I said, I guess it just might be the size of it. It seems a little bit big, just because it does fit well in the phone and it still charges and everything like that, but it does take a little bit more force to kind of push in and out of the phone, which is kind of annoying. But I'll give you an idea of the brightness by turning off the lights here. We have a lot less light. As you can see, there's still some light, but we'll turn on the cable here, and you can see the brightness. It's pretty dim, as I mentioned. It's definitely sufficient to light up the charging port. Like, as you can see, you can't really see the charging port here, but if we do this, you can go ahead and kind of see the charging port. It's a little bit dim, as I mentioned, but I mean, what you're supposed to do is go like this and kind of look at it, and then plug it into the charging port like this, and then you can let go of it, and then you'll be good to go. All you have to do is kind of get the cable to the charging port. There's definitely enough light for that, but as I mentioned, it's not really enough light for like anything other than that, which is unfortunate. If you were to want to use this as like an emergency light or something like that, I think I mentioned earlier that it would work for that, but I do remember that it is actually pretty dim, and so it might work for some very, very rare situations, but most of the time it is just enough light to plug your cable into the phone, and you can't really do much more than that with it. But yeah, anyway, if you guys would like to purchase the product, of course the link will be in the description, as it always is, and if you enjoyed this video, then a like rating is always appreciated. did. If you dislike this video, then that's perfectly fine, but please feel free to leave a comment and kind of tell me why you dislike the video so that I can hopefully improve upon what I did wrong in the future and all that. I'm always looking to improve my videos, so constructive criticism and all that is always welcome. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video a lot, then you can consider subscribing. I do a bunch of reviews very, very similar to this one, and so hopefully you will kind of learn something from them. And yeah, I don't know, if you are interested in subscribing, I also do giveaways and stuff, so it might be worth your while. Anyway, this has been Jordan for Joe Reviews. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next review.